All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. It's this incredible, kind of circular story about the relationship between artificial intelligence and our very own brains. We're going to explore how the AIs we built in our own image are now helping us understand the real thing.
So let me just throw this out there. For centuries, really, the human brain has been this ultimate black box, one of the biggest mysteries in science. But what if the key to finally unlocking it wasn't another microscope, but actually a kind of mirror, the artificial minds we built to copy it in the first place? That's the wild idea we're digging into.
Okay, so where does this all begin? Well, it starts with us, with our own brains. It turns out that our brain was the OG blueprint for some of the most powerful and sophisticated AI that we have today.
At the very heart of this is something called an artificial neural network, or ANN for short. You can think of it like this. Scientists looked at how our brain's neurons talk to each other. They get a signal, process it, and then decide, yep, fire, or nope, stay quiet. And they basically built a computer version of that. It's a digital brain with our biological one as the inspiration.
And we're not just talking about a vague resemblance here. It's way deeper than that. The whole structure of these ANNs with all these different layers stacked on top of each other, that's directly mimicking the brain's architecture. It's what lets them move beyond simple tasks and achieve some seriously complex learning.
So how does one of these artificial brains actually learn? It's pretty cool. You feed it a ton of data, say 1 million pictures of cats. It processes that info through all its layers and then makes a guess. Is this a cat? And here's the magic trick. It checks its own work. If it's right, awesome. If it's wrong, it goes back and tweaks its internal connections, just a tiny bit. It literally learns from its mistakes, trial and error, just like we do.
Now, to really get why this technology is such a massive deal for neuroscience, you have to understand the wall that scientists had pretty much slammed into. Their old tools just weren't cutting it anymore. And this slide just lays it all out. The old school way of studying the brain was fantastic for looking at tiny, specific things, a handful of neurons in your eye, for example. But trying to use those same tools to understand the whole symphony, the billions of neurons firing to create a thought or a feeling, it was like trying to understand an entire city by only looking at one single brick. The scale of the problem was just overwhelming. And this is where our hero, deep learning, swoops into the story. It's a special, super-powered version of those neural networks. And it doesn't just kind of help, it fundamentally changes the game. It comes with a whole set of superpowers that are perfect for tackling the brain's complexity. Let's break them down. First up, superpower number 1, prediction power. Deep learning can just crunch insane amounts of data. We're talking everything: social media posts, genetic codes, you name it. It finds these tiny, almost invisible patterns that no human could ever spot and uses them to make shockingly accurate predictions about us. And then it has this amazing trick called transfer learning, where it can learn from a massive data set and apply all that knowledge to a much smaller, specific problem. It's a bit like learning how language works from millions of books just so you can understand one single tricky poem. All right, superpower number 2 is all about finding hidden connections. Look, we all know human behavior is, well, it's messy, right? It's never just one thing. It's this complicated web of 1 million different factors all interacting. Most older models couldn't handle that. They wanted simple, straight lines. Deep learning, though, thrives in the mess. It is designed to find all those subtle, tangled-up connections that actually drive who we are. Okay, on to number 3. And this one is a massive game changer for the scientists themselves. It's all about cutting down the grunt work. See, in the old days, scientists had to do something called feature engineering, a fancy way of saying they had to guess which parts of the data were actually important. It took forever, but now you just dump all the raw data into the algorithm and it figures out what matters all by itself. This is huge. It lets researchers focus on the why, not just the what. And sometimes the AI finds important clues nobody would have ever thought to look for. Number 4 is a big one. It's all about handling the kind of data that makes up our actual lives. Yeah, the really messy, unstructured stuff. Pictures, videos, the way we talk and write. This isn't neat and tidy spreadsheet data. And deep learning has specialized tools for this, like CNNs that are amazing at seeing, and RNNs that are incredible with sequences, like language. It's basically custom built to understand the world as we actually experience it.
And that brings us to the fifth and final superpower, understanding group dynamics.
A lot of data about us is nested. That just means we're individuals inside of bigger groups. Students in a school, patients in a clinic. Using a cool trick called multitask learning, the AI can look at both levels at once. It learns the general rules that apply to everyone, but it also learns the specific quirks of each group. It gives us a much smarter, more nuanced way to see how we all fit together.
So, okay, we have these 5 incredible superpowers. What does it all add up to? Well, this is where the story comes full circle, and it's just so cool. Remember how we started? We built these AIs by copying our brain. And now, those very same AIs are handing us the tools to understand our brain like never before. And you gotta get this. The point isn't just to build smarter computers. That's almost a happy accident. The real goal, the true prize here, is using these powerful new models to finally get closer to understanding ourselves, to answering those huge, fundamental questions about the mind that we've been asking for centuries.
Which leaves us with one last kind of mind-blowing thought to chew on. We built these tools in our own image, and now they're holding up a mirror to us, showing us a reflection that's clearer than anything we've ever seen before. So the question is, as that reflection gets sharper and sharper, will it finally show us the answer to what it truly means to be human?